I had some clients recently inquire about the neighborhood of Nocatee, and they are out of state. So they're trying to really understand what is going on with the community, where it's going to go for the future, and is it best to buy or resale, try to get a deal, or buy new construction, even though it's in its last three phases. So let's kind of break down some of those questions that they had and how maybe it could help you with your decision making. So, first, when it comes to Nocatee, of course, you already know. People know and love it. It's been voted year after year one of the best neighborhoods to raise a kid. If you've seen my other videos, I'm sure you've heard of that fact. So let's talk about the difference between resale in Nocatee and also what new construction is offering. So, in regards to resale, is it the best option to do in Nocatee? Well, it's honestly based on your preference of neighborhood. So, there's a lot of established communities such as 20 Mile, Green Village, Austin Park, Willow Cove. There's a lot of different options to choose from for the more established neighborhoods in Nocatee. That maybe we're the OG of Nocatee. So, do they have the equity in there? Absolutely. Will the equity still grow? Absolutely. This again is a huge benefit to being a homeowner in general. The overall average is about 3% every year that you appreciate. So, will your home appreciate with a resale home? Absolutely. Can you get a good deal with a resale home? Absolutely. Honestly, that's a seller by seller basis and what their expectation is of the price of their home. So, that can kind of vary. Now, in regards to new construction, I have a client right now who's literally trying to decide between should I buy a resale or should I buy new construction? Well, what we're coming down to is our wants versus needs versus our non negotiables. So, when you have non negotiables, making sure that you keep those first priority away from everything that's so distracting is super crucial. Of course, that's my job. That's where I come in and help kind of draw you back in to make sure, like, hey, I understand this is a great option, but this doesn't have one of your non negotiables that we absolutely have to have in this next home. So that's my job to kind of draw us back in like, yes, it's great. It can get you into the neighborhood, but do you want to sell your home in 3 to 5 years? Because it's not really practical, especially for my out of state people. The big conversation is, hi, family, we're uprooting everything we've ever known and we're moving to St. Johns County. So, the only way really to talk people into that is really having them buy into the idea. This family, for instance, is taking in their father in law. And so, because of that, they're going to need a little bit more space that doesn't feel like he was just put to the side and added to it, but more or less going to make him feel like he's a part of the family and at home, which there's some great options that have guest or in-law suites that you can add to the properties that may not already be in those established neighborhoods that you're looking at or might not be in the price range you are wanting to stay within. So let's talk about what new construction equity value looks like. Well, so Nocatee is in its last three neighborhoods that you can actually even buy in. So, of course, the equity is going to be there because it's supply and demand at this point. There's only so many home sites available for homes to still be built on. And a lot of families don't typically want the 40-foot lots because they want a little bit more of a larger footprint, especially if you're taking in a family member. So you're wanting a bigger footprint so you can have a larger square footage to give everyone the room that they really honestly need. So, with the last bit coming to a close with Nocatee, your home equity is going to start growing because the demand's going to be higher because it's not going to change being the best neighborhood to raise a family in just because of that. But one of their fears I'd love to share with you. So, one of their fears is perfect. Nocatee is done. It's perfect. It's clear. Now the park group goes bye and just like skips out on them. That's not what's going to happen. Now, if you're familiar with the area and you've heard of Julington Creek Plantation, this is a community that honestly is trying to get to speed with all these other new communities and what they have going on. Julington Creek is a great established neighborhood to live in, and they're constantly adding value to the neighborhood to make sure, one, residents are happy, but they're staying on the up and up to being able to want to move there. Well, Nocatee is going to be doing the same thing. The HOA isn't going anywhere. The CDD isn't going anywhere. The lifestyle is going to remain the same, even though they're completely built out. So that is one kind of concern that they had, that they were a little nervous about, what will happen to the water? What will happen? Like, will maintenance still happening? I was like, as long as you're paying your CDD and HOA, I promise you, everything will be pristine and everything that you love about Nocatee will still be there. But deciding between a resale and new construction is really a case by case basis because, again, with resale, you only have so much flexibility really with negotiation and, you know, bargaining power with that. But with new construction, yes, you're limited to a certain amount, but you have closing cost incentives, you have interest rate options. There's just a lot of different options depending on your timeline, what you need, and what you're looking for. Because if you have 9 to 10 months to build exactly what you want, honestly, there's some great incentives that could make that happen. Or if you're more in a dire need and you're 30 days that you need to close by, well, maybe look at some great spec options that they have in the 3 communities they are looking in Nocatee and building in, such as Crosswinds, Seabrook, and then also Reflections. Now, as we know, there's a lot of options with new construction and a lot of options for resale, especially when we get in those busy seasons. A lot more homes come to market and a lot more incentives get advertised. So if you have any questions about those incentives, let me know. Like and subscribe to hear more about Nocatee. So if you're looking for more content on St. Johns County, what it's like living here, and honestly another reason to live here, like and subscribe. Did you subscribe?